You ever wake up in the middle of the night with this gnawing feeling in your chest? That whisper that says you're not where you're supposed to be? Yeah, me too. And here's what nobody tells you about that feeling. It's not a warning that you're failing. It's a signal that you're ready for something different. Most people spend their entire lives trying to force success through sheer willpower. They grind, they hustle, they push until they're exhausted. And you know what happens? They burn out before they ever see the finish line. But what if I told you there's another way? What if winning in life could feel less like dragging a boulder uphill and more like automatic? Stay with me here, because what I'm about to share changed everything for me. There's this part of your brain, your subconscious, that's running in the background 24/7. It's like an autopilot system that's been programmed since you were a kid. And here's the crazy part. Most of us never even think to reprogram it. We just accept whatever code got installed by our parents, our teachers, our early failures and fears. We walk around with outdated software, wondering why we keep getting the same results. I learned this the hard way. For years, I was that person saying, I want to be successful, while my subconscious was screaming, who are you kidding? People like us don't make it. Every morning I'd set intentions, and every night I'd fall asleep disappointed. The gap between who I wanted to be and who I was felt like an ocean. Then something clicked. I realized I'd been trying to win a game without ever defining what winning actually meant for me. Not what my parents wanted, not what looked good on Instagram, what I genuinely wanted my life to look like. So I did something simple but powerful. I sat down with a blank page. You can use paper or your phone, doesn't matter. And I started writing. Not some vague wish list, specific things. Real things. I wrote down exactly what I wanted my body to feel like when I woke up. The kind of relationship I wanted to wake up to. The type of work that would make me excited to start my day instead of dreading the alarm. And here's where most people stop. They write their goals, feel good for about 15 minutes, then file it away and forget about it. But that's not how you reprogram your subconscious. That's just journaling. What did next felt almost silly at first, but trust me on this. I took my biggest goals, the ones that scare me a little because they felt so far away, and I wrote them down on individual pieces of paper. But I didn't write them as wishes. I wrote them as certainties. I earned $5,000 in passive income every month. Not I want to or I hope to. I wrote it like it was already decided, just waiting to happen. Then I put those papers everywhere. Bathroom mirror, kitchen cabinet, next to my bed. Places I couldn't avoid even if I tried. And every single time I saw one, I didn't just glance at it. I read it out loud. 5 times. Now you might be thinking, that's just positive thinking nonsense. I get it. I thought that too. But here's what started happening that I didn't expect. After about a week of doing this, I noticed something weird. I'd be scrolling through my phone, and suddenly I'd see an article about passive income strategies that I would have scrolled right past before. Or I'd be at a coffee shop, and I'd overhear a conversation about real estate investing, and instead of tuning it out, something in me perked up. That's relevant. Pay attention. My brain was starting to filter the world differently. It was looking for opportunities I'd been blind to before. That's what the subconscious does when you give it clear instructions. It starts working for you automatically, even when you're not consciously thinking about your goals. But I took it even further. Every time I read those affirmations out loud, I'd close my eyes for just 30 seconds and visualize it. Really visualize it. Not just the end result, but the feeling of it. I'd imagine opening my banking app and seeing those deposits hit. I'd feel the weight lift off my shoulders, knowing my bills were covered without me trading hours for dollars. I'd picture myself having coffee on a Tuesday morning instead of sitting in traffic, stressed about being late to a job I hated. And here's the thing about visualization that blew my mind. I started visualizing the steps too, not just the destination. I'd see myself having conversations with people who'd already done it. I'd imagine the small wins along the way, like earning my first $100 passively, just $100. But in my mind, I let myself feel how exciting that would be, how it would prove to me that this was actually possible. It sounds almost like a cheat code for life, right? And in a way it is. But it's not magic. It's just finally working with your brain instead of against it. Now, I'm going to be real with you about something. When you start doing this, your old programming is going to fight back hard. I remember about 2 weeks in, I was standing in my bathroom, reading my affirmation about passive income, and this voice in my head just laughed. 5,000 a month? You can't even save 500. Who do you think you are? Everyone's going to think you're delusional. That voice was loud and mean, and it sounded a lot like some people from my past who'd always played it safe, who'd always chosen security over possibility. But here's what I learned. Just because you have a thought doesn't mean you have to believe it. Your brain is still running on old survival software. It's trying to keep you safe by keeping you small. It doesn't know any better. When those limiting beliefs show up, and they will show up, just acknowledge them. Oh, there's that old program running again. Thanks for trying to protect me, but I'm good. Over time, those voices get quieter. Your new programming gets stronger, but you have to expect the resistance and not let it derail you. You know what else made a huge difference for me? I stopped trying to do this alone. I used to think asking for help was weakness, that if I couldn't figure out myself, I wasn't worthy of the success. How messed up is that? So I started seeking out people who were actually doing what I wanted to do. Not people who just talked about it. People who had real results. I found a mentor who'd built multiple passive income streams. I joined a group of people pursuing similar goals. And something magical happened in those connections. When you're surrounded by people who are also reprogramming their subconscious for winning, you all become mirrors for each other. Their wins remind you what's possible. Your progress inspires them to keep going. You share strategies, troubleshoot problems together, celebrate the small victories that other people might not even understand. Some of those people became lifelong friends. One became a business partner. These relationships themselves became automated winning machines because we were all pulling each other forward. But here's the final piece that ties it all together, and honestly, this is the one that made everything else actually work. I made the steps mindless, stupidly simple, because here's what happens when you set big goals. Your brain sees the gap between where you are and where you want to be, and it freaks out. It starts throwing up obstacles. That's too hard. You don't know how. You'll probably fail. So instead of giving my brain a chance to complain, I broke everything down into tiny, almost laughably small actions. Want to learn about passive income? Okay, step 1, follow 3 podcasts about it. That's it. Just hit subscribe. Step 2, watch 1 YouTube video on the topic. 15 minutes. Step 3, send 1 email to someone who has experience. Just 1 email. Each action is so small that your brain can't really argue with it. And here's the beautiful part. Action creates momentum. That 1 podcast episode gives you an idea. That idea makes you curious about something else. That curiosity leads you to a book. That book mentions a strategy. That strategy requires opening a business bank account. And suddenly you're 5 steps down a path you would have been too intimidated to start if you'd looked at the whole journey at once. I started treating my daily habits the same way. Exercise fell hard? Fine. I'll do 10 push-ups. Just 10. Too tired to read? I'll listen to an audiobook while driving. Don't know where to start with investing? I'll schedule 1 call with a financial advisor just to ask questions. Every tiny action became a domino. And when dominoes fall, they build momentum. Before you know it, you're not forcing yourself to win anymore. You've created a system where winning happens automatically because you've programmed your subconscious to recognize opportunities, your environment to remind you of your goals, your community to support your growth, and your daily actions to be so simple that you can't not do them. 3 months after I started this process, I earned my first $200 in passive income. It wasn't $5,000. It wasn't life-changing. But I'll never forget how it felt to see that money appear in my account from work I'd done weeks earlier. It was proof that my subconscious had been reprogrammed. Proof that automatic winning wasn't just a concept. It was my new reality in motion. Your brain is the most powerful tool you have, but most people never learn how to use it intentionally. They let it run on default settings installed by fear, doubt, and other people's limitations. You don't have to live that way. Define what winning means for you. Write it down like it's already happening. Speak it until your subconscious hears it. Visualize it until it feels real. Expect the resistance, but don't surrender to it. Surround yourself with people who amplify your new programming. and make the path so simple that winning becomes inevitable. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. Winning in life isn't about working harder than everyone else. It's about working smarter than your old programming. It's about turning your biggest dreams from things you have to force into things that happen automatically. And that's not just possible. That's the whole point.